Hey guys, so much interesting video on Wild Rift. So they were back with an Ashe commentary guide, and as you guys know, we recently just did an Ashe updated complete guide for patch 3.4. But of course, that one was recorded in patch 3.3c, and I just released it in patch 3.4 when patch 3.4 released. So today we're gonna have an actual gameplay from patch 3.4, and this one it just really again highlights how strong Ashe is/can be. So also we have this new replay tool, I guess, with the different formatting. So I'm gonna be testing out the different formatting and see which one I like best. But for today we have the one with the permanent scoreboard at the bottom. But personally I think the scoreboard is actually pretty small, smaller compared to the previous one, I believe, based on what I remember. So I think that it doesn't obscure too much of the view, and you can actually see like the gold, the KDAs, and the items of all of the players. Alright, so there is also a new like Ashe support build using Imperial Mandate, which is really strong right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a video covering that, because you gotta get support for that, and your team comp has to be good. Like if you need a tank, you can't be playing Ashe support. So if I get like autofill to support in ranked, which is happening relatively often, and my team comp allows it, I will of course try that out, and if it goes well, I'll probably make a video on it, but no promises. So here in the lane phase, we have something really strange. So we have Lux Lucian, which is a very aggressive lane, but they're kind of getting pelted by us for some reason. So here I take a lot of minion aggro, so I'm going to have to back off. But yeah, so here we're actually playing Janna Ashe, and Janna Ashe definitely does not win against Lux and Lucian, because if Lux hits a binding and throws out her E and Lucian just all in, it's really easy for them to get a kill. Whereas with Ashe and Janna, all we can really do is just poke them a little bit by a little bit, and we don't really have a ton of good all-in potential, at least before level 5 when I get my ultimate. So we're actually just playing for the mid to late game. We're not even playing for laning phase, but somehow we actually did manage to nearly kill the Lux, and the Lux didn't even flash, by the way. Like, she just walked it out and could have very easily died there. Me and Lucian trade exhaust, so we're still even in terms of summoner spells. So with Ashe in the laning phase and in the entire game, really, all you really want to do is just poke out people. So another important thing is the use of the hawk shot. You guys saw I used the hawk shot there to actually catch the Shyvana doing the skull crab. So we know that she's around the area, so we know not to play too aggressive. One of the very underrated parts of Ashe's kit is her vision with the hawk shot itself. You want to actually use it basically when you don't know where the enemy jungler is and you want to spot out what they're doing, or of course the more obvious like usages is like when they're doing like objectives and you want to see the objective's health. You don't want to just throw it out randomly, especially if you have vision of all 5 people on the map, then it actually does nothing. So yeah, so here we hit level 5, so we actually do have some kill potential now. Lucian gets knocked up, separated from the Lux. I throw the arrow onto the Lux and we get the kill onto the Lux. So this was talking about. Ashe has a lot of catch potential when she hit level 5. So this is a really good example of one of the 2 ways you can use her ultimate. The first way is just like a close range ult for like 1 second of CC. Here Shyvana comes in, Janna pushes her away, and I actually flash backwards. So here I actually make a mistake, because Lucian was actually really low. So what I should have done was not panic and flash away, but actually kill the Lucian with the Janna. Janna does survive in the end, but I could have killed the Lucian, not used my flash, and made sure that Janna didn't die. But I just panicked and flashed away, so Janna does pick up the kill onto the Lucian and she does survive, but that definitely was not the best case scenario. Alright, so here we are gonna just back and buy, because we do need to reset and pick up some items. So we do pick up the mana mune already. I'm not going to go through the Ashe build and runes, because we've obviously just done that in the updated complete guide I just did for Ashe a couple days ago. So here we have the second use of the Ashe arrow, the long range Ashe ultimate. As you guys can see, this allows my team to pick up a kill. Although they end up both dying after that, so maybe that's not the best case scenario for our team, but it still highlights how you should be using the Ashe ult. So as I was saying, the build for the build runes and spells, it can of course refer to the updated complete guide I released a couple of days ago on Ashe. Alright, so we've shown how to use the hawk shot. We've shown how the 2 ways you can use the ultimate, and basically the rest of Ashe's kit is pretty simple. You just poke whenever you can, like that. The Lux finally hits a binding, but Janna's shield pretty much makes it such that I take no damage from that Lux combo itself. And obviously you stack up your Q as much as possible, and then you just try to hit whoever you can with your Q. Alright, so here again, Lux caught out of position, and it's really easy to punish people out of position on Ashe just like that. Like, she stepped up way a little bit too far away from the Lucian, away from her tower, instantly gets hit by my ultimate, and she is gone. Alright, so here Shyvana tries to go in, goes in way too early in my opinion, and she dies. And we barely actually secure the dragon. The Wukong actually gets it. And here we kill the Scion as well. So really good team fight from us. Lucian goes down as well. And yeah, it just goes really well. In the meantime though, the Gragas is pushing the top tower. So he is picking up a couple of plates, etc. But we do pick up the dragon as well as 3 kills. So can't really complain there. And so here with the help of the Gwen, we're going to push and pick up 2 plates. And yeah, and then we can obviously just reset and get ourselves more items. So now at 3-0 and 3, we're doing pretty well. And as I mentioned, although Ashe now with this new build with the Triforce and the Manamune can carry a lot harder, but at the end of the day, she is still more utility focused than carry focused. So with this build, you will be doing a lot of damage. However, another long range arrow for me here hits the Gragas right as he goes in under the tower, so that guarantees him dying, and my team can, you know, follow up with the rest. Yeah, so if you get fed on an Ashe, you're of course going to do a lot of damage, but if you have the same like KDA on other champions, let's say for a Lucian 3-0 and 3, you're still going to be out damaging the Ashe. So it's still, you basically have a good mix of damage and utility. Because of how much utility you have, obviously you don't have as much damage, which is fine if that's what you're looking for in your team. In this particular match, like, I think Irelia, you know, and Gwen and even Wukong has more than enough damage. So I'm just here to, you know, provide the utility as well as my own little bit of damage. So overall, all of our damage together should be more than enough to do damage to the enemy team. The enemy team here is pretty tanky. They do have Scion, Shyvana, and Gragas to a certain extent is tanky. So I'm going to be going to Blade of the Rune King soon. So here again, Lucian gets knocked out by the Janna. Janna now has the Imperial Mandate, so I will do a little bit of increased damage onto the enemy, onto the enemies when that does trigger. So here the wave is still coming in, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to take this Skull Crab, which basically acts as a ward in the river, you know, to allow us to see. So here I ward and I actually catch Shyvana coming over. She has her ult, so I'm just going to ult her in the face and run away, because if she ults on top of me and Lux was on the rotation, I could have been in trouble there. So it's better to just expend an ult and guarantee survival than you know, be greedy, hang on to the ult and possibly get engaged on. So here I'm going to recall again, get myself the Triforce. I got my 2 core items, although the Manamune is not yet evolved into the Mirror Mana, so that's going to be in a little bit longer. You guys can see when I leave the base as well, I do shoot my W just to charge that Manamune just that little bit faster. And yeah, Gragas does manage to pick up the tower in mid. Reason why I didn't go mid to stop him was because the 2 of them, after they are done with the Herald, they could easily rotate to mid. I didn't want to waste my time just, you know, trying to stop the Gragas. So here we pick up the bot lane tower, and we see Lucian out of position trying to launch an arrow, but Lucian dashes out of the way. In my opinion, I think he was already gonna dash. It just happened that I let loose my arrow at that exact moment that he was gonna dash. So a little bit unlucky in my opinion. In the mid lane, a giant skirmish starts breaking out. I'm getting there as fast as I can using the skull as well as my boots. But by the time I reach, basically my teammates have basically died, so not too much I can do here. Sion actually comes in with the ult but collides into the wall. Of course, not really easy to navigate the ult on Sion. So here, I'm really fed. I finally have the Manamune, by the way. As I'm attacking the red buff, it finally evolves into the Mirror Mana. So 3-0 and 4, 2 core items completed already. Just gonna take myself the red buff. This is really gonna be very helpful for my general poke damage and just my damage overall. So here, I see the enemies are trying to push in the bot tower. So here I'm just trying to stop them from getting this tower, which I am able to do successfully, but I do take quite a bit of poke because of it. Now Gragas is actually going for a very interesting build. He has the Ludens, and now he actually gone for the Imperial Mandate, which is going to help his whole team overall actually do more damage. Now, I'm not sure if that's a good build or not, because he's going to have less damage himself overall, but he's going to let his team kind of do more damage overall. So I'm not too sure if that's advisable or not. So anyways, I pick up the Stasis. And yeah, we're just going to hit back out. The next dragon is coming up really soon, which of course we know Shyvana is going to want to go for, so we want to be in position to contest. And our whole team kind of is, except Gwen, who's farming the blue buff. So here I'm just poking out anybody I can, that being like Sion. I'm just poking him, attacking him, and yeah, just basically just spamming my W, poking the Gragas as well. Gragas gets a really good ult to separate me from my team. Procs electrocute, I flash back, Wukong engages on him, and we do get the kill. We see Lux separated, we go in for an ult. She manages to flash away, Shyvana goes in, I exhaust her, and I stasis to prevent myself from dying to the Lux ultimate. And I actually survive on 1 HP for a while before Lucian finally goes in and gets himself the triple kill. So we basically lose the fight here. Only Gwen and Janna are left alive. Lucian can't decide who he wants to go for. Waffles back and forth. Gwen goes over the wall to save herself. And I don't know why Lucian didn't come faster to cut her off, but I thought that Lucian would easily reach her, but Lucian did not. Gwen uses the Hallowed Mist to prevent Lucian from actually attacking her, and with the help of Janna's passive movement speed, actually does manage to get out somehow. I think the Lucian was a little bit slow there. I think he maybe decided to give up. Then he later on realized that the Gwen was not walking toward his base, was actually walking back towards safety, because I think maybe the Lucian thought she would execute there, but she did not. So in the end, Gwen actually gets out scot-free somehow. So here me and Irelia are on the dragon. Wukong is in the area, and we got the Lux ult to leash us a little bit. Wukong is here. Shyvana goes in with the ultimate and actually steals it. Wukong smites way too early with like 233 health remaining on the dragon after he smited. But Shyvana pays for it with her life, as does Lux, and as does Lucian. So overall, we trade a dragon for 3 kills. Now, not really the best scenario in the world, because Infernal Dragon is of course really good for the damage, as well as denying Shyvana a dragon is of course huge. But hey, you know, as a consolation prize, we do get 3 kills, so not the worst scenario in the world. So here we pick up the tower, and we're gonna just back and reset. So the really important thing is not to reset in the middle of the lane when you have a Sion in your game, because he can ult straight down the lane and engage onto you, and we don't want that to happen. So here we are going to build toward Blade of the Rune King. We of course did get the Executioner's Calling a little bit earlier on to cut the healing of the enemy team. In particular, it's mainly the Shyvana at this point, but Lucian probably has a little bit of healing on the Hunter Vampirism as well, and Gragas has a little bit of healing on his passive. So overall, it just helps us cut down the enemy sustain by a sizable amount. So here we're going to pick up the Red buff. And yeah, we're going to use the Hawkshot to see, and we do spot out Sion and Lux over there in the area, in near the like Baron Pit area. So as I mentioned, you want to be using that Hawkshot at the appropriate times to actually glean information of the enemy team's location, and not just throw it out willy-nilly. And here we have not really a skirmish, but it's just like a little bit of poking here and there. We do manage to get out the Lucian ultimate. Gragas is actually split pushing on the bot lane, as he's been doing for a lot of the match actually. So this is an alright fight to take. Here Shyvana actually goes in, gets pushed away by Janna, gets stunned by me, and pretty much just dies, evaporates instantly. So here I'm just pelting the Sion. Of course we got the Blade of the Rune King helping us out. And here I flash forward to get the slow onto both targets, and I do manage to pick up the kill on the Lucian despite him using QSS. I think Lux is a little bit too far away, so I decide not to chase. My team does chase though, and I'm going to just focus on trying to get this tower. So here I do manage to push in the wave, and we are able to pick up the tower pretty easily. And yeah, so here I'm just going to reset. Gwen looks like she wants to go for the next tower, but I don't think that's advisable considering the enemy team are going to be respawning quite soon, and I don't really want to be messing with them when that happens. Alright, so now we're almost towards our Blade of the Rune King, so now nothing too much to do, so we're gonna just farm up the jungle. Actually, it turns out that there was a mid wave for me to actually catch, which I don't actually end up doing. I end up actually just going for the jungle camps, but we're gonna just do a quick rotation over to the mid wave, get the last couple of minions from the previous wave, as well as picking up the next wave. And yeah, so here again, we're gonna probably gonna complete Blade of the Rune King. There we go, Blade of the Rune King completed. And yeah, honestly, there's not too much more to talk about at this point. I've pretty much gone through all of the Ashe aspects all over again. Here, another long-range arrow downtown. Does hit onto the Lux, but my team isn't really... actually, I was going to say my team isn't really a follow-up, but they actually are, because they do get the kill on the Lux. But I kind of bait the Wukong to go in a little bit. So that really... I don't know, I guess we traded 1-for-1, but Wukong had a shutdown. So overall, that was not a good deal. Here Sion was left at 1 HP, but he has ult, so he actually ends up ulting away. Irelia is still on the chase, all the way deep into enemy territory, which is of course not very advisable. So we can see the whole enemy team rotating to try to cut her off. So me and Jenna are trying to get there as fast as possible to actually try to help her out. And we do actually reach here as Gragas comes in. I exhaust him and ult him, and he is done. So he kind of overchases a little bit, makes the same mistake as the Irelia when he was trying to punish the Irelia. And again, I don't think chasing Sion is a very good idea, so I'm gonna go for minions instead. Janna chases the Sion, and she actually does end up catching him and the Lux. I dodge the Lux ultimate, and I am able to actually get there to kill the Sion. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to go onto the chase for Lucian and Lux. Lucian does manage to escape. Oh, no, actually, he doesn't actually, but I do hit the ultimate onto the Lux to allow Ariel to pick up the kill. Shyvana jumps in onto me, but she's 1v4, so no chance of her getting out there. Doesn't even actually manage to get the kill on me, thankfully. And we are able to, from there, pick up the bot lane tier 2. And Wukong is working on the mid lane tier 2, and the Ocean Dragon has spawned as well. So here, Gragas is up to defend, and he actually ults us all away, as well as like basically clearing the minion wave with his ult, so we are unable to actually pick up the inhibitor. So instead what we're going to do is, as the enemy team is still all respawning, we're going to fall back and pick up a free Ocean Dragon, which the enemy team cannot contest. So there we go, Ocean Dragon has been completed, not completed, but acquired, slain. So now we're going to just back and complete our moral reminder. Of course, as we did point out, they do have the Sion and Shyvana especially, who are relatively tanky, so we are going to be able to actually shred them with the Blade of the Rune King as well as the moral reminder. And even Gragas has actually opted into a Frozen Heart. So here I'm going to out the Gragas, and we're going to just pick up an easy kill onto the Gragas. But yeah, so pretty much this build kind of counters their tanks, which they have kind of like 3 of them. So here I'm gonna just slow down the Sion. He can't really escape. He already expended his ult and it got blocked. Shyvana comes on in, gets pushed away by Janna again. Really nice ultimates by Janna to keep us safe. And I also exhaust her, and here we pretty much just wipe the whole enemy team just right down the mid lane. And here we basically have the game, because the enemy team all are dead and can't really do anything. So alright guys, as usual, I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats. Just see how much like damage Ashe actually does and how much utility she actually brings to the game. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.